They had known each other their whole lives, and thinking he understood the grief she was going through, she had sought comfort in his arms. She'd been paying for that mistake ever since. "I was just looking out for you," Colton said, his mouth downturned. But Drue didn't have the patience for hurt feelings of his own making. "You were just sticking your nose in where it doesn't belong, trying to claim what's not yours to claim." Colton made a noise of disbelief. Unclenching her jaw, Drue ignored him and scanned the burnished skies again. It was near dusk, and she hadn't meant to stay out so late, but the latest, less than detailed reports from this perimeter had bothered her. She had wanted to check for herself. Drue was one of the best rangers to have risen from the fall of Narva. She had shed her noble woman's skin and shaped herself anew in the wake of all that death and destruction, spitting in the face of laws and tradition. Her father had too, and as one of the few folk left who knew how to manage such things, he'd taken over the forge of Narva, and the crucial task of hammering the blades of the war swords. For even amid the fall of a kingdom, the elite warriors of Thesmar must have their weapons. They were protectors of the mid-realms, the only men capable of slaying a shadow wraith. But Drue refused to believe they were Narva's only hope, for they'd failed her people before. She had joined the guerrilla forces as a ranger, hoping one day she might discover the monster's lair, that she might be the one to set the fucking thing ablaze and watch it burn. But cloaked in dark magic, it had eluded her for a year. Drue herself could practically smell a shadow wraith a mile off, and she had no shortage of rage to wield against them. Her hand drifted to the steel cuff at her wrist that she'd forged herself, an experiment that had become her obsession, the thing that filled her mind when the movement of constant travel ceased. She ran her fingertips over its dented surface. She was no master smith like her father, but the cuff wasn't for looking pretty. It sensed the power-hungry magic of the wraiths, warming against her skin when they were near. It was a glimmer of hope, on an otherwise bleak horizon, that there might just be a way to keep the monsters of the mid-realms at bay. "Drue?" Colton's voice jolted her from her reverie. "What's that?" She followed his pointed finger to something in the clouds moving towards them, fast. Her eyes narrowed, her hand shifting to her cutlass, but pausing as the creature came into full view. A sigh of relief whistled between her teeth. "It's just Terrence," she replied, not taking her eyes off the wide expanse of those soaring wings closing in. She braced herself for her hawk's landing. Sure enough, she had to dig her heels into the earth as a powerful gust of wind hit, and the bird's talons gripped her shoulder, his substantial weight settling there. Drue found it comforting and reached up to stroke his feathers fondly. Terrence gave her finger an affectionate nip with his beak before he cast his discerning yellow gaze upon Colton with unmistakable disdain. Drue loved him for it, especially when it made Colton yield a step back from her. The hawk was an impeccable judge of character, to be sure. "I really wish you wouldn't bring him everywhere," Colton muttered. "Adrian loves him." "Because Adrian shares your sadistic sense of humor." "I have no idea what you're talking about." "Please," Colton scoffed, staring after her as she continued along the kingdom's perimeter. "The two of you and that damn bird love ganging up on me." "We do no such thing." He fixed her with a lingering, longing stare. "Am I so repulsive to you?" he asked, desperation ringing in his voice. "I'm not having this conversation again." Drue's fist clenched around the grip of her cutlass, her knuckles threatening to split. Terrence's claws tightened on her shoulder as though he too couldn't stand Colton's constant pestering. "Drue, please, just talk to me." "I have talked to you," she snapped. "I told you time and time again that you have my friendship and nothing more. I have nothing else to give you. You are not entitled to or..."